First, the top headlines. First talk held between Kuki-Zo Council and Manipur Chief Minister Khemchand after nearly 3 years of conflict. Kokomi opposes holding Manipur peace talks outside the state. Thado Human Rights Advocacy calls for disclosure of minutes of the meeting held between Chief Minister Khemchand and Kuki-Zo Council. Manipur police nabbed KCP cartel in Imphalis, drugs and weapons recovered across districts. Meghalaya leads nation as 86% schools declared tobacco-free. Center increases commercial LPG's allocation to 50% for states and union territories. A very good evening and welcome to ELITETV English News at 6 prime time. This is Somirin bringing you the latest news and now the news in details. In a significant development, the Kuki-Zo Council KZC held its first meeting with the government of Manipur led by Chief Minister Yumnam Khemchand Singh, marking the first formal engagement after nearly 3 years of ethnic conflict in the state. Chief Minister Yumnam Khemchand Singh stressed the need to rebuild trust between the communities during ongoing peace efforts, stating that forgive and forget is essential to restore normalcy in the state. Referring to the recent peace talks with the Kuki-Zo Council, the Chief Minister described the engagement as a positive beginning towards bridging the trust deficit and bringing lasting peace in the state. Speaking to the media while inspecting the interbus terminus ISPT at Kuman Lampak, he highlighted that internally displaced persons are still unable to return to their native villages, calling the situation deeply concerning. He added that representatives of the Kuki-Zo Council did not put forward any demands during the talk. Chief Minister Khemchand also clarified that while there is no official buffer zone in the state, certain sensitive areas have been identified for security purposes.
IDP leni meyamsi mafam chana hanjin minaba hona bada khwaidagi maru oina darkar reisi community ani gi marakta lariba trust thajana daba potuni IDP gi singi association haitai apun ba ai toy nei moisun thuna haning baiduni adugo simple an example more se hanjalen khalasi Manipur gi laiba security sing gi central forcing moina sunga ge hingdori ra Bharat ki Pradhan Mantri na Parliament da Manipur kaiba yar hai raponi doi yapkan nei na tali honestly go adi Bharat ki Pradhan Mantri na Manipur kaiba Manipur intake oina leini hai rapotu da adu ai stage da wari sabade no ite na khali.
Manipur's Chief Minister Yumnam Khemchand Singh led government came under criticism on Saturday, the 21st March, for its decision to hold peace talks with the Kuki-Zo Council KZC in Guwahati, Assam, instead of within the state. The decision to hold the talks outside Manipur drew sharp criticism from the Coordinating Committee on Manipur Integrity, Kokomi, the apex body of civil society groups. While welcoming the peace initiative, Kokomi convener YK Dhiren stated that holding talks outside the state undermined the authority of the Chief Minister's office and disrespected the people of Manipur. YK Dhiren asserted that meaningful dialogue should be held within the state's jurisdiction, pointing out that venues such as Imphal, Churachandpur, Farzwal, Chiripam, Kangpokpi, Senapati, Ukhrul, Chandel or Ternobal were available. He further alleged that civil society groups were neither consulted nor informed about the talks, despite their active role in the peace efforts since the beginning of the crisis. Thado Human Rights Advocacy Group has expressed that the Kuki-Zo Council KZC, a proxy of Kuki NP Manipur, and Kuki NP Manipur, a proxy of the unconstitutional and illegal Kuki tribes ST, are pursuing anti-Manipur, anti-Thado, anti-Meitei, anti-Naga, and anti-Zomi activities at various levels. The group stated these entities are using armed Kuki militant groups and religious groups' influence to mislead and subdue the Thado population, effectively using them as instruments to create unrest in the state of Manipur for several decades. Such actions are contributing to violent activities that disturb communities across Manipur, thereby creating confusion, instability, and internal security concerns within the state. The Thado Human Rights Advocacy Group continued that the government's continued appeasement of the Kuki separatist subscribers and supremacists should be considered immediately in the interest of peace and stability in the state of Manipur. Instead, recognition and support should be extended to genuine Manipuri communities such as Thado, Mar, Zomi, comprising 7 tribes: Paite, Kangte, Simte, Vaipe, Sukte, Zo, and Mate, and Zomi and Mizo, comprising 2 tribes, and the Mizo, Lushai tribes, and Ralte, who are pro-peace and non-violent communities that have been severely impacted and displaced by the ongoing Manipur violence since 2023. The body called upon Chief Minister Yumnam Khemchand Singh, his office, and the government of Manipur to disclose the minutes of records of the meeting held with the unrepresented and unmandated body, the Kuki-Zo Council in Guwahati, on 21st March 2026 in the interest of Manipur, and further urged the government to declare the meeting null and void instead of engaging with or appeasing a fake KZC for political gain and proxy dealings. Mahila Kafya March Manipur today, the 22nd March, organized its 23rd Mahakavi Sammelan at Dosoyali Hall at Kwakitel, Moirang Purel Lekai under Imphal West District. During the occasion, book titled Singan Endu, authored by Mahakavi Angahal in Bengali script and translated into Meitei Mayak script by Dr. Rajkumari Musuksana, was also released. The event was attended by Manipur ex-Chief Minister Radha Binod Koicham, Mahila Kafya Manch Manipur President Dr. KSH Subadani, and DM College of Arts, DM University retired Principal Professor Chungkam Shilaramani. Speaking on the occasion, Manipur ex-Chief Minister Radha Binod Koicham stated translating a novel is not an ordinary task, and he applauded the efforts of Dr. Rajkumari Musuksana in translating one of the famous novels of Mahakavi Hijam Anganghal without altering its essence and taste.
Srimati Musuksana Devi na translate tawduna literature si fazana masigi poetic beauty poetry gi kaibe gi torokpadu raidra madugi saitha sakani singba mayam solo mayam haibatare adugumba mayam punamakto manghandana handokpiramiba maitailonda handokpiramiba lairik ase singen edu ase matam punamakta laheuba oirasunu Manipur gi naharo da achauba ekogi mahaki khudor ama oina laheurasunu.
The fourth edition of the triennial event of Nongmaitem Tombi Memorial Lecture organized by Naharul Sahitya Premi Samiti Imphal was held today, the 22nd March, at the auditorium of Directorate of Information and Public Relations (TIPR) at Nityai Park, Jutat. During today's event at Nongmaitem Tombi Memorial Lecture on Contemporary Literature, JN Manipur Dance Academy Vice Chairman Longjam Choichandra spoke on the topic of sharing Manipuri tradition and Sri Biren. Speaking on the occasion, Samiti General Secretary Dr. H. Temba stated that late Nongmaitem Tombi, popularly known as Nongmai Pandit, worked tirelessly during his lifetime for the development and promotion of Naharul Sahitya Premi Samiti Imphal. He highlighted that today there are numerous creative writers. However, there is deficiency in the discussion and discourse on literary works of great novelists, writers, and literary scholars.
Manipur ki memorial lecture sarkar na sinba state kala academy na sinba karkai lairiba mayam si manungda ogi resource person na wangang resida piwa wamanche ngasi gi lecture sina paide na chawba adugumba remuneration ni aduna housing pauda akoi lecture si mari chathakre yan han baje professor Nauyam Khagendra akoi Manipur University of Culture ge BC oiramse ojana yanan ngange mathangda Professor Manimite English Department the head ka oiramba Dean School of Humanities Manipur University ki ojamani ngange.
A cutter of the prescribed KCP-PWG was arrested by Manipur police during an operation in Imphal East District on March 20, officials said. The accused, identified as Koijam Popi Meite alias YB, 47, a resident of Kongba Lashram Lekai, currently staying at Kongba Bazaar, was picked up from an area under Irelbung police station. A mobile phone was seized from his possession. In a separate operation the same day, security forces recovered arms and related materials from Payeng Mamang Lekai under Lamsang police station in Imphal West District. The seizure included a .32 pistol with a magazine, 4 stand shells, 8-tier smoke shells, and several documents such as diaries and register books. Another search operation in Javangpai under Moray Police Station in Tainobal District led to the recovery of suspected narcotics and cash. Around 13.4 kg of crystal methamphetamine and rupees 2 lakhs were seized from a house in the area. Meghalaya has recorded the highest share of tobacco-free schools in the country, with 86% of educational institutions meeting the tobacco-free educational institutions TOEFL criteria, according to state officials. The milestone comes amid persistent public health concerns, with nearly 8,000 tobacco-related deaths reported annually, and 47% of adults aged 15 and above consuming tobacco, as per the Global Adult Tobacco Survey 2017. The program, launched 3 years ago under the National Health Mission, focuses on early prevention by targeting school environments. It is being implemented jointly by the state's health and education departments along with Samband Health Foundation, aiming to cover all schools across Meghalaya. Under guidelines issued by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, schools must complete 9 anti-tobacco measures each year, assessed through a 100-mark scorecard. Institutions scoring at least 80 marks are certified as tobacco-free. Measures include installing anti-tobacco signage, organizing awareness campaign and student-led rallies, and enforcing compliance with tobacco control norms on campus. Officials say nearly 10,000 schools participated annually in activities such as rallies and signature campaigns, contributing to wider awareness and behavioral change among students. Stay with us, we'll be right back after a very short break. Don't forget you're watching ELITETV.
District Legal Services Authority DLSA Bishnupurna Thadorokpa Cherolamagi Matungina Lakliba March ki tang kuntraga mathoi ingisinganiga kungataru numit asida Bishnupur District asida leiriba school pumbagi oina painting competition ama pangthok jagani. Competition asida category ani thokna khaidoktuna category 1 class 3 dagina 6 Hiramna Save Water Save Earth category 2 Class 7 dagina Class 10 foba Hiramna Prohibition of Child Marriage Hairiba Hiramasuda pangthok jagani. Interest laibiba students singna school authority ga Tana Biraga Lakliba Monday Tankunga Humdoidaki DLSA office ta Lakbiraga form lobiba yaragani Matamna Ayupung Taradagina Numidang Warampung Mari Fobo Oigani Akupa Marol Gitamak DLSA Bishnupuriki Kangbiba Yagani Natraga contact number 60090750082
Mayam ngasi wahang amtang hangjage madudi Maitei ekhoi yamna strong culture amadi identity lejaba maitei ekhoi si asi globalization gi adugum laba ichel da ekhoi chatkisira natragana ekhoi gi identity kan bada hena khumang choksin ba somdo wakhalon thadasira haibisi mayam da si wahang chei thangjen maram masina miyamna ngasi kanglepa kan bulukna Nipan Suba Foundation de ga iroina na sinjari ba first state level open debate competition asida suksoi soidana saruk yabiona haijani amadi Hariba topic asi Metei Nupina Mitopta Mayum Panmana, Metei the Mangjaba Late Haiba topic Asida Sinjavani, Atuna Hariba topic Asida, I am Kanana the Saruk Yabu Hana Hamjan.
Hariba topic Asida, first state level open debate competition ama Pangtok Jagadori. Competition Asida, Makok Matang Tarabasing, Amadi 10 consolation prize to case prize Painat Hamjari, Screenda Tokanjaram gave. Participate to winning basing na mayflows.in Natraga. Makada piriba link asida registration tawbirakpagi khudong chabasu pizari 5th April 2026 Sunday nongmaijing numit asida pangthok jagani mafamna Jawaharlal Nehru Manipur Dance Academy Impal
Laibak miyambu khurumjari lakliba April gi tang mangada nipalak suba KKL Foundation ga mari lenana mayam gi damak oirakliba lamna masigi phibam asida debate ama thamjari Topic na Ekhoi gi ningol Maitei ningol singna mitop ta mayum panbada Ekhoi gi purupta mangjaba leit Masida leiba leitaba punamak debate asida nainaminasi soidana saruk yabiyo hairiba debate asi open ni thabak tawba singsu yawba yai masida interest leiba itlina kudimak yawba yai sahi gi factor khaidok lejade soidana saruk yabiyo amadi lamda masida oirakliba phibam amadi Igi pal ngak pagi sangjal lakliba thabak thoram sing asida mai pak na sanghin minasi haiba waiji thamjaraga lakliba April gi tang manga mayam kawbiraga nu April gi tang manga maphamna Jain Dance Academy hairiba competition asigi damak registration form hungbigada website www.mayflows.in dani aduga hena maru oiribadi last date of registration si April gi tang anida oigani kawbiraga nu Mayam mateng pangbiyu amadi competition asibu mai pakhanbiyu aduga loina na hairiba thoram asibu pangthokpada achowa mateng pangbirakliba sponsorship pibirakliba singbusu sinjal langderiba singi mahut sinjaraga thagajaba khondukchen
Ayang taibang khongda jarakibasi kumjali sinamaga samapal humphudra 1970 mas ke kunipal lamtagina kunmathoi nipan ba thang janamit ke ayuk pung mapanda ayang taibang phaurakki
lo leijaba phije leijaba lining leijaba maitei phurupse amtadi ningkha tamna lining mikha pondabasu oirasi.
Welcome back from the break. Thank you for tuning in once again. Our next top stories begins with The Election Commission of India (ECI) has directed all the states and the union territories to ensure assured minimum facilities (AMFs) and voters' assistance at every polling station for the upcoming 2026 general and by-elections. The Commission had earlier announced the election schedule on March 15 for assembly polls in multiple states and by-elections across the 6 states. Following this, chief electoral officers have been instructed to equip all 218,807 polling stations with essential facilities to ensure a smooth voting experience. As per the guidelines, AMFs will include drinking water, shaded waiting areas, toilet with water, proper lighting, ramps for persons with disabilities, standard voting compartments, and clear signage. Seating arrangements will also be made at regular intervals for voters waiting in queues. To enhance voter awareness, 4 standardized voter facilitation posters will be displayed at each polling station, providing details such as polling station information, list of candidates, voting procedures, required identification documents, and important guidelines. Preliminary work for Special Intensive Revision (SIR) of electoral rolls has commenced in Tripura, Chief Minister Manik Saha said on March 21st, urging citizens not to panic over the exercise. Speaking to reporters after attending a PJP workshop in Agartala, Saha said the Election Commission has initiated the SIR process in various states to ensure that no eligible voter is left out of the electoral rolls. He noted that in Tripura, officials have begun preliminary preparations even though a formal notification for the exercise is yet to be issued. Highlighting Tripura's geographical position, the Chief Minister said the state is surrounded by Bangladesh on 3 sides and stressed the need to ensure that all eligible voters are given a fair opportunity to exercise their democratic rights. The Chief Minister reiterated that both electoral reforms and educational expansion are being undertaken to strengthen governance and deployment, governance and development in the state. The government on Saturday, the 21st March, said that it has allowed another 20% allocation of commercial LPGs to states and union territories, which will take over allocation to 50%, including 10% allocation based on ease of doing reforms for PNG expansion. This additional 20% allocation will be given on priority to sectors like restaurants, dhabas, hotels, industrial canteens, food processing, dairy, subsidized canteens, outlets run by state governments or local bodies for food, community kitchens, 5 kg free trade LPG for migrant laborers, the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas said in a statement. Educational institutions and hospitals have been prioritized, and around 50% of the total commercial LPG allocation is going to these sectors, said the official statement. Maintaining that the supply of LPG is still a concern in view of the prevailing geopolitical situation, the ministry said domestic LPG production from refineries has increased and panic bookings have reduced. Majority of the deliveries are happening via delivery authentication code DAC. All refiners are operating at high capacity with adequate crude inventories in place. The country is also maintaining sufficient stock of petrol and diesel, said the government. CJI Justice Surya Khan on Saturday, the 21st March, underscored the need to transform formal equality into real-life experience for women in the legal profession, calling for structural reforms and sustained institutional support to ensure their continued participation and advancement. Speaking at the National Conference 2026 on Reimagining Judicial Governance, Strengthening Institutions for Democratic Justice, organized by Supreme Court Bar Association on the outskirts of Bangalore, he highlighted key findings of the survey documenting the challenges faced by women lawyers and the need for systematic solutions, pointing to encouraging trends. The Chief Justice noted that women now constitute over 50% of students in law schools and a significant proportion of new entrants to the bar. Emphasizing the need to address structural barriers, he said stakeholders must identify impediments that prevent women from continuing in the profession. The Chief Justice also stressed the need for systematic support mechanisms, including maternity protection, safe working conditions, childcare facilities, and financial assistance. Iran targeted a joint UK-US base in the Indian Ocean, and Iran's main nuclear enrichment site was struck again as the war in the Middle East entered its fourth week. Iran's attack on the Garshia air base, about 2,500 miles, 4,000 kilometers away, suggested Tehran has missiles that can go further than it had previously acknowledged, or that it had used its space program for the improvised launch. UK officials did not give details on the strike that targeted the Garshia base, which was unsuccessful. Britain's Ministry of Defense called Iran's lashing out across the region and holding hostage the Strait of Hormuz a threat to British interests and allies. Britain has not participated in the US-Israeli attack on Iran, but has allowed US bombers to use its bases to attack Iran's missile sites. Meanwhile, Iran's Natanz nuclear enrichment facility was hit in an airstrike. An official Iranian news agency reported, saying there was no radiation leakage. The United States has announced the temporary lifting of sanctions on the scale of Iranian oil stranded at sea in an effort to cool down soaring global crude prices. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the temporary measures will make available 140 million barrels of Iranian oil to global markets. U.S. officials claim that at present sanctioned Iranian oil is being hoarded by China on the cheap. By temporarily unlocking this existing supply for the world, the United States will quickly bring approximately 140 million barrels of oil to global markets, expanding the amount of worldwide energy and helping to relieve the temporary pressures on supply caused by Iran, the officials stated. So far, the Trump administration has been working to bring around 440 million additional barrels of oil to global market and through undercutting Iran's ability to leverage its disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. officials said. For ELITETV News Channel, contact the email address info@elitetv.in or 940-2890-982 and subscribe to ELITETV YouTube channel or follow on Facebook page, Instagram and X for more information about the channel. Before we wind up, a very quick recap of the headlines once again. First talk held between Kokizo Council and Manipur Chief Minister Yumnam Kemchan after nearly 3 years of conflict. Kokomi opposes holding Manipur pistols outside state. Thado Human Rights Advocacy calls for disclosure of minutes of the meeting held between Chief Minister Kemchan and Kokizo Council. Manipur police nabbed KCP cutter in Imphal East, drugs and weapons recovered across the district. Meghalaya leads nation as 86% schools declared tobacco-free. Center increases commercial LPG allocation to 50% for states and the Union territories. That's all for today. For more updates like this, please keep watching ELITETV. Stay safe, stay informed. Good night.